What's the worst life you can imagine? Being born in a war zone? Trapped in a cage? Constantly hunted? Now imagine being born as a lobster. No, seriously, hear me out. You're born in total darkness, floating weightless, blind, and alone, somewhere in the cold currents of the North Atlantic. You're not even a lobster yet. Right now, you're just a larva, about 4 millimeters long, roughly the size of a sesame seed. You don't have claws, you don't have armor. You look more like a tiny alien with twitchy legs and a see-through body. And you are surrounded by thousands of siblings, all hatched from the same mother. Lobster moms lay up to 100,000 eggs at once, and the second you hatch, you are on your own. And guess who one of your biggest threats is? Your own siblings. Oh, and your mother might eat you too, because lobsters don't do parenting. They do cannibalism. So, congratulations. Your life begins with a Hunger Games, Ocean Edition. The majority of your brothers and sisters are dead within days. If you're lucky, like really lucky, you avoid getting eaten and start floating around in the upper ocean, desperately trying not to die. Anything that filters water, a jellyfish, a small fish, even another baby lobster, could snap you up without a second thought. And it's not just outside threats. The water around you is chaos. Currents toss you like dust in the wind. You can't swim properly yet. You just paddle your little legs, trying to stay upright. But it's no use. You molt for the first time within days, shedding your fragile outer shell just to grow another. And then you molt again, and again, 4 times in just the first 2 weeks. Every time you molt, you're even more vulnerable, softer, easier to kill. If you survive long enough, you'll finally grow heavy enough to sink to the ocean floor. This is your first big test. Can you make it to the bottom before something eats you? Statistically speaking, probably not. Out of every 10,000 lobster larvae, maybe 1 will live past the first few weeks. But somehow, you do. You sink, you settle, and you crawl. You're not safe, not even close, but for the first time in your short life, you've made it off the menu. But guess what? It doesn't get better. You're about 2 months old now, and your nightmare has only just begun. Now comes the part where you grow, except lobsters don't grow like normal animals. You can't just stretch out like a puppy or a human. Nope. You're trapped inside a hard, rigid exoskeleton. So the only way to grow is to completely rip it off. Imagine having to take off your entire skin, including your face, your eyeballs, your throat, even the lining of your stomach, just to get a little taller. That's molting, and lobsters do it all the time. Young lobsters molt around 20 to 30 times in their first few years. Each time, the stakes get higher. One wrong twist, you get stuck. And if you get stuck, that's the end. Every time, you have to hide because for a few days, your body is soft, mushy, and totally defenseless. Basically, a walking meatball. Literally, everything is trying to kill you. Oh, and after molting, comes the worst part. You have to eat your old shell. Disgusting? Yeah. Necessary? Absolutely. Your body needs calcium to harden the new shell, and there's no supplement aisle down here. It's like growing by giving yourself full-body surgery, then eating your own skeleton afterward. Lovely. And this never stops. Lobsters keep molting their entire lives, every few years as adults, until one day, they can't anymore. And when that happens, game over. But we're not there yet. By 3 years old, you're around 400 grams and the size of a soda can. You're finally tough enough to hold your ground, but that doesn't mean life gets easier. In fact, it's about to get worse, because now we need to talk about pain. For years, people said lobsters don't feel pain. You've probably heard it too. Oh, their brains are too simple. They don't have emotions. They don't even scream when you boil them. That's just steam. But science says otherwise. And you know it firsthand. Lobsters may not have a brain like humans, but they have a complex nervous system, one that absolutely reacts to injury, stress, and trauma. When researchers shocked lobsters, they didn't just twitch. They remembered and avoided the area where it happened, even days later. That's pain recognition and memory. And here's the worst part. Unlike humans, lobsters don't have a system to dull the pain. No endorphins, no stress relief, no sleep, no escape. It's raw, continuous, and relentless. Imagine getting a paper cut and feeling it at full intensity for hours. Now imagine it's not a paper cut, it's a boiling pot of water. If you thought things would slow down a bit, think again. Lobsters don't get a break, ever. Sleep? What's that? You live in a state of constant alertness, like someone sleeping with one eye open forever. You feed at night, crawling along the seafloor, sniffing for dead fish or worms. And at any moment, something bigger could end it all. If you get a cut, it won't heal. That shell doesn't scab over like skin. If it cracks, it stays cracked, letting bacteria in, sometimes all the way to your insides. Shell disease can literally rot you alive. And the only solution? Molting again. Even if you're not ready, even if it might kill you. So now you're tired, you're infected, you're vulnerable. And if you're hoping for some companionship to make it all feel worth it, don't. Because lobster love doesn't exist. You're finally mature enough to mate. But lobster mating is not sweet. It's not passionate. It's brutal. First, the female must molt, making her soft and completely defenseless. Then, she has to find a dominant male like you and crawl into your den, hoping you don't kill her. You allow her to stay. She lays beside you. You mate once, then she leaves. She stores your sperm and fertilizes her eggs months later. She carries them under her tail for up to a year, thousands of them, and does all the work herself. You'll never see her again. And if you do, you might fight her, or kill her, or eat the babies. No parenting, no partnership, no second date. And when those babies hatch, it starts all over again, with cannibalism, chaos, and a 99.9% chance of dying in the first month. So, yeah, no love stories here. Just a one-night stand followed by a year-long pregnancy and a batch of kids who'll probably never make it past their first birthday. But if you thought that was depressing, just wait until we get to what's actually worse. You're now 5 years old, about 1.2 kilos, solid, armored, battle-tested. You've survived baby-stage cannibalism, dozens of risky molts, maybe even reproduced once. Surely now you get to relax, right? Wrong. Because everything, and I mean everything, is still trying to kill you. In the wild, lobsters are hunted by just about anything with teeth. Even during mating season, a bigger lobster will think nothing of snapping you in half just to claim your spot. But nature's predators are nothing compared to the apex threat. Humans. Fishing boats drop thousands of baited traps every day. You follow the trail and slip into a wire cage. It's easy to get in, but almost impossible to escape. Once inside, you're stuck there, sometimes for days, slowly starving, surrounded by others just as panicked. Then, a sharp jolt. You're pulled up toward a blinding light. Your first look at the surface. It's terrifying. It burns your sensitive eyes. You thrash, but your claws are already rubber-banded shut. You're tossed into a tank with dozens of others. The water is stale. There's nowhere to hide. Your stress level spikes. You can't escape. You don't even understand what's happening. Soon, you're wheeled into a restaurant. And then, someone taps the glass. They've chosen you. It's not quick, it's not painless, and it's not over. Because the worst is yet to come. Being boiled alive. The chef grabs you. You twitch. You kick. But it doesn't matter. There's no sedative, no mercy. You're still fully alive and aware. The lid opens. Steam rises. And then they drop you in. Boiling water hits your body instantly. Your nerves fire in every direction. You twist, you flip, slam against the pot. That's not reflex, that's panic, that's pain. And here's the worst part. It takes up to 3 minutes for your brain to shut down. 3 long minutes of searing, excruciating pain. And no, you don't pass out. You feel every second of it. The bubbling isn't screaming, but if you could scream, you absolutely would. Some chefs try to stab lobsters through the head first, but your nervous system isn't just in your brain. It's spread across your whole body. Even with your head gone, your heart can keep beating. And to think, you could have lived a century. But instead, your story ends in a kitchen. Biologists say lobsters show negligible senescence, meaning you don't age the way humans do. Your cells don't decay. You stay fertile. Your organs don't wear down. You just keep growing. In theory, a lobster could live forever. So, yes, lobsters are technically built to live for 100 years or more. So, let's go back to that question. What's the worst life you can imagine? Because being born as a lobster might be the most brutal life in the animal kingdom. Now, let's go back to that question. What's the worst life you can imagine? Let us know in the comments below. And if you think lobsters have it bad, wait till you hear about this animal.